Hello, everybody.
Aloha.
No idea what's happening with the camera.
Enable camera. Press.
V. Oh, there we go. Wait. It's just taking some moments to.
Okay.
It's a bit slow.
Where's the people? Where's the comments? It hasn't gone through there.
No idea.
There
we go.
we go.
Hello, fam.
Aloha.
There we go. Everything's changed again. How's everybody feeling?
Why is there's a garden in the background there?
They just changed the image, the background image.
Look at us, we're in the garden. Garden of Eden, baby.
Hello, hello.
Aloha, Mijasi.
Nice to be back. Happy solstice.
Aloha,
1 minute
Jason.
past midnight here, so we've just flipped over to the 21st.
And I just got home actually. I've had a really interesting and beautiful. We both actually had really interesting days. I don't get out much these days, but that's going to shift very quickly. But I went to a friend's place in Edenvale, so there's no traffic because everyone's in lockdown or whatever they're doing. I don't know, but it was very quiet, and it's about 30 minutes away. With traffic, it's an hour. So I went to go visit some friends that I haven't seen for a couple of months, and they weren't there. So I remember my friend telling me that my ex-girlfriend stays a couple of houses down from them. So I park outside I go outside the gate there, and oh, hey, Mr. Gabriel.
Hey, Gina.
So I go to actually Gabriel, perfect timing, because I go to Karen's place. Gabriel actually met Karen before I did. I mean, she met Gabriel before I did. And they had quite an interesting experience. But anyway, so, the angels were guiding me, and all of a sudden the gate opens, but there's nobody there. So long story short, I get in and, just saying hi and chatting a bit. And talking about numbers, next thing the guy says, my mother and I want a numerology session. So I ended up going next door to the mother's house, and she had a stroke 7 years ago. So she's paralyzed in the right arm, and her oldest son died. And just breaking down the numbers, her son was there with her. And he said to me they've never had such a beautiful, brilliant, honest conversation, because when you bring in the numbers, nothing is personal. It's simply guidance from the numbers, and numbers are always talking to us. Your house address, your phone number, your birth date, your check at the counter, your car license plate, everything is guiding you. Everything is guiding you within, to take a look at yourself, because self-love is the golden key through this portal, and there's no way around it, because you cannot love anyone until you learn to love yourself unconditionally, because there is only one type of love, and that's unconditional love. Humanity are caught up in the concept of unconditional love and conditional love, but there's no such thing. There's unconditional love, and then there's conditions. They don't go together. Yeah, so it was a beautiful day full of synchronicities. Managed to get the Sophia Code book. And Terrence wanted to read that. Got some violet flame spray. The angels gifted us. We just got gifted with so many things. That basically what happened was, like a long story short, I went there and I activated her grandchild, her godchild, who ended up going on a skateboard. I said, "You still skateboard?" He said, "Yes," which he didn't. So he ended up going on a skateboard. Came off a skateboard, got picked up by the ambulance. They all went out. Everyone rushed out of the house. I'm at this house. Nobody's there. They just leave me there. And I look around. There's a little kitty cat playing. I sit on the grass. I sit in the sun. I start sun gazing and meditating and do yoga on the grass in this place. And everyone's disappeared. Like, love is all around. And that's what we're returning to. Love everywhere present. And that's where your focus needs to be. There's always love if you're looking for it. If you're looking for problems, I guarantee you'll find it every time. If you're looking for love, I guarantee you find it every time. Attention goes, energy flows.
You just stole my line.
Oh, I'm on a roll, yeah. I got it in.
And that's exactly it. You know, whatever you paying conscious attention to, you're strengthening that. And then, you know, it's like you start off the day with, you know, bumping your foot, and then you're swearing, and then you spill your coffee, and then you do something else, and you wonder why, like you're in the spirals, because you're giving so much attention and you're carrying on complaining. So the universe is going, okay, well, that's what you want. But when you start your day with gratitude, then you just create more experiences in your space to be grateful for. And it was like 5 days in one for me. Nice. A little bit today. I woke up quite emotional. I think I was feeling a lot of the collective energy. Obviously, there's a big shift with the solstice, and everything was making me emo. Love you, Bobby. Love you, Faith. Love you, Terry. Hey, Dina. Haven't seen you for ages. So it was kind of like just allowing it. And I actually want to read some of this book that we've been talking about a lot. It's just got such powerful messages in it. I would actually love to read the whole entire book over days, because exactly. You read, like, I got to share this with people. And then you read the next chapter, like, I have to share this with someone. And then you read the next chapter. So it's actually like we should have a reading session where we go over the whole book and like kind of discuss it, because it's
kind of like they're doing with the Celestine prophecy. I fucking still didn't get that book.
Okay.
Jesus, how did that miss? Yes. Angels curved that book.
And then I went for lunch with a friend, which was really cool, just to catch up and chill. And then I had an amazing session with Claudia doing my gene keys, and there's a whole lot of stuff that came through that I'm going to integrate over the next couple of days. So it's been pretty wild, synchros and emotional roller coaster and synchronicities and magic, and a combination of it's like a pot of all sorts of things in it. Yes. So it was really, really cool.
A lot of feminine crying lately. The masculine are they're still holding up the rear. Love you, brother.
Yeah.
And it was so nice, you know, going into the space and just bringing love, and people just listening. They're like, thank you for bringing the love. Like when I drove home, apparently they told me, oh, you passed the curfew now. Apparently there's a curfew. You need to be home by 10 o'clock. And I was like, curfews don't apply to me. I live in love. You know, that shit I never even registered. Like, what the fuck is a curfew? I've never had a curfew in my life. I'm 44 years old now. I'm not going to start now, you know.
But what you give attention to is, you know, what manifests the experience. So if you don't pay it any attention, then you don't attract those silly monitors, you know.
And I went for a walk this morning, and I walked past this guy. He's dressed pretty smart, you know. I can feel his energy is pretty good, and you know he's dressed pretty smart, and he's got this fucking mask on. So I walk past him. I'm walking down the road now, my dad walk, and I walk past the guy, and I'm like, dude, the fuck is that thing on your face? And as he goes like this to talk to me, the whole thing actually pops off his face, and he says, I'm just wearing it for the government. I said, fuck the government. I said, that thing is poison. He says, yeah, and he smiles and he keeps the thing off and he walks off. And it shifts his day. But you've got to at least say something. Like, some people are just looking for permission, and some people honestly don't fucking know that this shit is bullshit. And they just in fear, you know. But how many times I've done that when I've said to the person, hey man, like, what are you doing with that thing on your face? And then they take it off, you know, like they just want permission. Take the mask off, take the diaper off your. I went into the cell phone shop the other day, and this guy's in there, you know, you can feel his ego, and he's quite loud, and he obviously knows the guys who fix the cell phone, and he says he's talking to them loud, and he's got a lottery ticket in his hand. He says, hey guys, maybe today, you know, wish me luck, you know, millions, I'll bring you millions, whatever. And then, you know, as he walks out, he stands there like this, he goes, I pray. And he walks out, and I said, hey bro, I pray you take that thing off your face first. What do you want to win the lotto for when you go? Oh man.
Yeah. Crazy time.
That's funny, man. Shit. Wow.
But there's definitely a build up to the truth coming, and it's unstoppable, and it's going to be really epic. And I did a live sometime this week, and while I was reading the 10 Love in Action codes, the angels just said to me, I need to facilitate an ego death ceremony. So I was like, okay. So I put a post out, and I did it on Friday night, and it was loads of fun. You know, spirituality is not serious. We had a lot of fun. We were all laughing at each other, and
love you, Krista.
And it was epic. A lot of people were feeling a bit nauseous, and purging was happening, and I had vomit face emojis coming, but it was just like that work is so important, you know, to do, because we're transforming on behalf of the collective, and the more we decide to just take things on and do it,
especially in unity.
Yeah, it was power. And you know, the list is pretty long, and you know, some of the stuff that's on there is like, you know, the bridge conditioning and the douchebag, and everyone was like, what does that mean? And I was like, the angels definitely had a sense of humor when they were giving Mom this list, because some of the stuff really made us giggle. And you know, they were like, when's this list going to end? And can't you just email it to us and we can do it? I said, no, because I know you guys won't finish it.
Yeah.
You know, so I did it so that we could write together, because a lot of people don't always feel into what the true energetic is. So it was nice to get that unpacked. A lot of people were really grateful because they had a look at the list before, but didn't really have the awareness of what that trait really was. And with that awareness, they could obviously transform it. And then we all took a break, and we all did our ceremony, and we burnt it, and we came back and shared the experience and had some good laughs afterwards. So if anyone is feeling to do one, you may have heard about it and not done it yet. It's really cool in a group environment. You connect with beautiful beings around the planet. So please reach out. Let me know. I'm really keen to do them. In my Gene Keys with Claudia today, she just said to me that part of my coding is to assist people with death and rebirth. So she says that makes a lot of sense why the angels kind of ping me to do that. So, you know, when you follow the guidance, it ends up just, you know, connecting with you with your purpose and your people, and you have so much fun at the same time. You know, who would have thought we would have laughed so much in the ego death ceremony? You know, it sounds so serious and so like intense, but it was lots of fun. Love you, Jerry.
Love you, Jerry. I actually wanted to. I played this for our numerology group yesterday, which was a 6-hour session. Then I went to visit a friend at about 11 o'clock this morning and got home at 10 o'clock tonight, because I ended up getting 2 sessions out of my ex-girlfriend's partner and his mother. Which was really, really cool. But obviously, of course, she still bypassed the fact that when I mentioned her the last time I do numbers, she's like, oh, I know a person's really good with numbers. Yeah, here's his number. I was like, wow. All right. So I surrender. I surrender. But Mom guided us quite a while back to this guy called Ian Langol. And I jumped on straight away because I felt the connection. And he basically converted the Gregorian calendar to the Mayan calendar. And he went through the whole evolutionary process of consciousness from the beginning. You know, we've been on this journey for 19 billion years. And he basically, you know, he breaks down the whole epoch of the Mayan calendar all the way to present date. And that's where we get to 2021 and the completion of the Mayan prophecy. Excuse me. So, and he got taken out shortly after he finished these 18 10-minute videos. He got taken out because he was too close to the truth. So I just want to share the first one. If you're interested in really listening to the series, then just mention it there or something. And
we can always put the link.
And I also and I'll put the first one on the link on YouTube, and then you can just find the rest. But listen really closely to it's 9 minutes long. It's really, really good. And then Taryn will read, and then we'll play one of Mom's videos. But first, Pono, innit?
Mm-hmm.
3, 6, 9. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Mama! All right.
I'll actually put the link on Facebook.
Okay, cool.
While you're playing it.
Sweet. All right, this is the part 1.
So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Ian Mungle back from his tour of Canada with 70 lectures across the Canadian nation. And he's back in Sedona for his second evening presentation here. And he's got some brilliant information to share with you. So I hope you brought paper, or at least recording device, or your ears. So lend him your ears, and let's give him a welcome.
Hello. Hi, guys.
Hello.
The first thing I want to find out is how many people have already seen one of my presentations.
Just let me know if you can all hear, please.
How many people have studied something about the Mayan calendar already?
Hello from Norway.
There is that. Okay. So, what we're going to be doing tonight is I've been doing the same talk, the same basic information of discoveries for the last 3.5 years. Tonight is a time to change that. I'm going to go into talking about not so much of history, but what is currently going on right now and what is going to be coming in the future, according to the Mayan calendar. For those people who haven't seen all the basics, we're going to be going
We're in South Africa.
very quickly. And you can...
But there are Australian fractal on the
stream. DVDs or VHS tapes that are out there. But for tonight, we're just going to rip into what I think is more important to everybody. That is, what do we do now? Not what did they do back then. Okay? The whole reason that I got involved in this some years ago was through jewelry. I'm not an archaeologist or any kind of scholar. I'm a jeweler. But I started doing Mayan symbols with my own hands. And those symbols have meanings, very strong meanings, started to impart themselves onto me. I thought this was very interesting. I looked further into their culture because of that and found out they had a calendar. Some years after I found out about the calendar, about 1.5 years, I actually came up with a formula to convert the Gregorian calendar to the Mayan calendar, and that's what's in here. When this information was published, it went to, eventually made it to Sweden, where Dr. Carl Koloman saw what I had done, and he had been doing his own researches on the Mayan calendar for 7 years. He had been researching facts that could be proven about the Mayan calendar. What he discovered was that there is a basic structure to the calendar. It's actually written in stone in a place called Koba. And what is written in stone is different periods or epochs of time. And what Koloman did is he took all that we have found out about our science, from our sciences, of what happens when, and laid it over this pattern. And voila, what showed up is this general movement of evolution of consciousness, which we're going to just go cursory through this basic information. Then we're going to go on to fresh stuff. There are 9 levels to the Mayan calendar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, where we are right now is in this 8th level. As a matter of fact, we're in the very middle of this 8th level. Each of these sections, or different levels of evolution of consciousness, are divided into equal sections of 13 periods of time. This very first section was 16.4 billion years long. That is from the Big Bang forward. And there was a particular kind of consciousness that was being laid down step by step by step by stage, all the way across. And this basic consciousness was action, reaction. All the physical laws. I guess everybody here pretty well understands by now that everything is consciousness, right? Everything is consciousness. Grass, trees, rocks, this pen. All consciousness. And this pen, as a matter of fact, is a very smart pen. It knows exactly what to do. It has a consciousness which registers what to do. Watch. It followed those laws. That's the level of the pen's consciousness. Action, reaction. I mean, we all know that things are conscious. We've proven it to ourselves. By going and washing your car, it runs better, doesn't it? Or it rains. But things contain consciousness at different levels. Objects have this consciousness of action, reaction. That pretty simple? Okay. The very next picture on this rock in Koba shows a time period 820 million years long. So 820 million years ago, a whole other cycle started. At number one, it started going through this whole process again. This time, building a different kind of consciousness. The consciousness of stimulus response. There's a difference between stimulus response and action reaction, isn't there? The major difference is that there's more consciousness in stimulus response than there is in action reaction. All these laws were laid down, all these steps and stages were taken until way over here, the very last section here. This is when life showed up, the first living cell, 1.26 billion years ago. And ever since then, it has been going through, now, instead of just action reaction, we have life, animate, that starts to organize into higher and higher levels of life. We end up eventually, over here the last 63.4 million years, with mammals. Started out with multicellular organisms that grew into plants, and then into mollusks and fishes and insects and birds and all the way through. By the way, in these books is very detailed information about each one of these steps and stages and how it has all come down on schedule. This is not a random creation. We have free will within it, but we are on a schedule, which is wonderful, as you'll see in a minute. This next stage, 41 million years ago is when it started, and 40 million years ago is when monkeys showed up on this planet. And they were developing a different kind of consciousness, and that is stimulus individual response. Now, down here, life had organized itself into things like nests and swarms and flocks and hives and herds. That's this kind of consciousness, stimulus response. But here, we entered into a whole other kind of consciousness, a familial consciousness. What's the difference between a family and a herd? The recognition of individuals. Now, this is a big difference. Stimulus response, stimulus individual response sounds the same, but it's a huge difference, and you've experienced it. There's times when you felt really good about just being yourself. And then there's other times when you felt like you were part of the herd. Like waiting online at some big sporting event or stuck in traffic. Check your consciousness level. When you're feeling good about yourself and when you're stuck in traffic. There's a big difference in consciousness. And that whole thing, this whole level, 41 million years of it, helped us to develop better ways to interrelate or intercommunicate. We move up to the tribal cycle that started 2 million years ago. 2 million years ago was when the first Australopithecus showed up, the first tailless ape.
You know?
It hasn't even got to the juicy part yet.
Yeah, that's just part one. There's 18 parts and it just gets better and deeper. And yeah, Mom brought it up the one time and I was like, I went in, I saw this mind stuff. I was like, hey man, this is it. This is good stuff.
So what they're sharing there is 19 billion years ago, or 9 billion years, whatever they
19,
started with there. Whatever was consciousness was taking 19 billion years to kind of evolve is now, well, they said 2020 was happening every 20 days. So people feel that time is speeding up. It's not time, it's consciousness. And that's how fast things are moving. And that's why we kind of feel that the time just goes. I mean, we kind of halfway through June already, and it feels like the year's just started. So it's consciousness that's speeding up. And that's why it really is just these moments to surrender and allow. And, you know, this book talks about how we always talk about triggers or treasures. But the treasure it's a test when you experience a trigger, whether you're going to keep your heart open, allow that feeling to pass through your heart to transform, or if you're just going to shut down. And when you shut your heart down, you close off all energy. And the longer you keep your heart closed, the more depression comes in, the more fatigue comes in, the more that lack of inspiration, the more we just want to sleep, the more we want to escape. So the practice is that when an experience comes in that triggers you, and you can feel the minute your heart kind of tenses up and starts to close, is to be present, to recognize that feeling and go, there's nothing that can harm me right now. All I need to do is experience it. So just allow yourself to sit in that feeling without a judgment or anything like that, or a story or anything like that. And it is a part I want to read in the book where, you know, don't get carried in that wave of consciousness, because wherever focus goes, energy flows. So when an experience comes in, don't feed it more and more information, more and more stories, and build a big black drama around it. Just almost sit in your seat of consciousness. So take a objective view, or just observe as to what's going on. And just allow it to pass through you, because nothing can harm you. It's just a feeling that you need to allow to pass through your heart. So the trick is, no matter what is happening, to allow your heart to remain open, because then you'll have that endless flow of energy. And that's what being in the present moment really is, just allowing those experiences without attachment. And what was fascinating in the book is that they talk about negative experiences you have that are fearful, that you almost protect yourself because you don't want that to happen again. But they also talk about clinging to positive experiences. So if you start a new relationship and, you know, your boyfriend says, I love you for the first time, you relive that experience all the time. You want to cling on to it because it felt so good. But you can almost just embrace that feeling without clinging, because that clinging to positive experiences also blocks the flow. And that was something that I became aware of, because I thought, you know, you need to hang on to the experiences because they keep you in joy. They don't. They also block that free flow of energy through your heart. So that was pretty fascinating for me. So I don't know if I should read, or if you have anything to share before I get stuck in here a little bit.
No, read. Also, just what Taryn's saying, you know, it's like you've got all these doors that keep opening, and like there's a party here, and there's something good there, and there's a paycheck there, and you want to open all of these doors. But all of those are just rooms that have dead end. You go in, you look around, you have fun, and then you come out. But the rooms that, you know, are a throughway that you need to pass through to the next level, you don't want to go into because they're dark. But if you know that love is on the other side of the room, and you know you need to just go through there anyway, you know there's no way around it. And like Taryn said, it's just a feeling. You simply need to feel it, because when you avoid that feeling, you stay in that loop. You keep repeating those patterns, and you just get a different face to come and show you the mirror that you're avoiding. you know. So really just surrender and trust love. And also re-heart that love is nothing at all what we think it is. Love is truth. Love is real. Love is transparency. So, you know what, when everyone rushed off to the ambulance today and I was connecting with the sun and the trees and the kitty and stuff and the hippo that was there, what came to me, you know, because one of the biggest things for the Aquarian age is, especially for the empaths and the light workers, is learning to receive, you know. But another thing that came up is, yes, love is the only truth. Never a truer word has been said. And what came up about learning to receive is also learning to receive when people call you out. Because people that think that they've done all their work and they think they're untriggerable, they try and defend that stance of being untriggerable by not giving people a way in, by not opening the heart to receive what other people are saying. You know, so receiving is also being able to take what other people see in you and just receiving it. You know, whether it's there or not, it's irrelevant. But being able to receive the guidance, being able to receive, you know, one of your friends come, because people don't know how to be honest. There's not a lot of people out there that can be honest with you and tell you when they can see it. You know, when I call, like you call someone out and other people are afraid to call them out, they're thankful. They're like, thank you. You know, I didn't even see that. Half the time they don't even see it. So love is truth. And if somebody is in wrong action in your space, or even just out of alignment, you know, they might even be saying something repeatedly that they don't recognize. And it's your duty and responsibility to speak the truth. That's what love is. And if someone reacts in a awkward way or whatever the case is, that's none of your business. Your job is to speak the truth and shine your light. And then that's what we're all contracted to do. Speak the truth to every being in every moment, not wear a different mask for every person depending on their status.
And just have the attitude of you want to grow, you want to transform, because everything that you're letting go of is just unconsciousness that's wanting to leave you. It's not who you are. You are pure love. So it's just the unconscious program that we've taken on. We've all been unconscious and we've collectively manifested the situation we've in. We all have a responsibility because we've all unconsciously paid attention to the cabal agenda. And they know how powerful we are when they can harness our consciousness. So we've all given attention to certain fearful things, and that's how we've manifested this. So it's our responsibility to recognize that, and awareness transforms all. So we have the intention that you want to transform, you want to grow, and when somebody calls you out, don't look to defend, just listen to what they say and feel if it triggers you. And if it does, just receive it without needing to respond, without needing to defend, without anything. Just listen. And if it triggers you, then look at it and see where you need to let go. It's pretty simple without having that kind of defensive. See it as you want to transform, you want to, and then ask the angels to bring it on. Like I say, whatever's mine, I want to see. Show me what I'm not seeing. And right now, those of us that have been doing a lot of work, it's the deep, icky, stuck stuff that's at the bottom of the barrel. We want to empty our cup. You know, the 10 loving action codes say, let go to make space for good stuff to come in. So it's really shaking that, you know, that icky stuff that's still there and just letting it go, because it's like a hot air balloon. You're only going to rise and have that beautiful view when you put the bags of cement or whatever they put in there, when you let go of that weight. So you want to fly higher. So you want to be able to let go of everything. Hi, Alice. Hey, Megan.
Hello, Megan. Hey, Alice.
I think someone was asking if you, Rob.
I feel Cecile, based on your name, I highly recommend you book a numerology session, Cecile. And in the meantime, maybe just slow down and pay attention, not just here, in life in general. I see the misalignment in your actions and in your energy. based on your name, that that imbalanced inner child coming out. So just slow down, because often when you talk too much, it's a sign of self-doubt. You know, you are awkward in the silence, and so you need to make it up with noise. So just check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's it.
Cool. Okay. So this book just puts everything in such a beautiful way. So when you close down and protect yourself, you are pulling a shell around the part of you that is weak. This is the part that feels it needs protection, even though no physical attack is taking place. You are protecting your ego, your self-concept. Although a situation may present no physical danger, it may cause you to experience disturbance, fear, insecurity, and other emotional problems, so you feel the need to protect yourself. Hi, Megan. No, Gregory wasn't talking to you.
I was talking to Cecile, or Cecilia, or whatever.
The problem is that the part of you that gets disturbed is way out of balance. It's so sensitive that the slightest little things cause it to overreact. You are living on a planet spinning around the middle of outer space, and you're either worrying about your blemishes, the scratch on your new car, or the fact that you burped in public. It's not healthy. If your physical body were that sensitive, you would say you were sick. But your society considers psychological sensitivities normal. Because most of us don't have to worry about food, clothing, or shelter, we have the luxury of worrying about a spot on our pants, or laughing too loud, or saying something wrong. Because we've developed this hypersensitive psyche, we constantly use our energies to close around it and protect ourselves. But this process only hides the problems. It doesn't fix them. You're locking your illness inside yourself, and it will only get worse. You'll get to a point in your growth where you understand that if you protect yourself, you will never be free. It's that simple. Because you're scared, you have locked yourself within your house and pulled down all the shades. Now it's dark and you want to feel the sunlight, but you can't. It's impossible. If you close and protect yourself, you're locking the scared, insecure person within your heart. You'll never be free that way. Ultimately, if you protect yourself perfectly, you will never grow. All your habits and idiosyncrasies will stay the same. Life becomes stagnant when people protect their stored issues. People say things like, you know, we don't talk about that subject around your father. There are all these rules about things that are not supposed to happen outside because they could cause disturbance inside. Living like this allows for very little spontaneous joy, enthusiasm, and excitement for life. Most people just go from day to day protecting themselves and making sure nothing goes too wrong. At the end of the day, when someone asks, how was your day? A normal person's response is, not too bad, or I'll survive. What is that telling you about their view of life? They see life as a threat. A good day means you made it through without getting hurt. The longer you live like this, the more closed you become. If you really want to grow, you have to do the opposite. Real spiritual growth happens when there is only one of you inside. There's not a part that's scared and another part that's protecting the part that's scared. All parts are unified because there is no part of you that you're not willing to see. The mind is no longer divided into the conscious and subconscious. Everything you see inside is just something you see inside. It's not you, it's what you see. There is simply the pure energy pouring inside of you that creates the ripples of thoughts and emotions. And there is the consciousness that's aware of it. There is simply you watching the dance of the psyche. Any comments I should stop for? I want to carry on reading a little bit.
Karen?
In order to reach the state of awareness, you must let your entire psyche surface. Every little separated piece of it must be permitted to pass. through. Right now, many fragmented parts of your psyche are held within you. If you want to be free, it all has to be equally exposed to your awareness and released. But it will never get exposed if you're closing yourself. After all, the purpose of closing was to make sure that the sensitive parts of your psyche don't get exposed. So you catch on that no matter how much pain the exposure creates, you are willing to pay that price for freedom. When you are no longer willing to identify with the part of you that is separating itself into a million pieces, you are ready for real growth. Begin by seeing the tendency to protect and defend yourself. There is a very deep innate tendency to close, especially around your soft spots. But eventually you'll notice that closing creates tremendous work. Once you close, you have to make sure that what you protected doesn't get disturbed. You then carry this task for the rest of your life. The alternative is to become conscious enough to simply watch the part of your being that is constantly trying to protect itself. You can then give yourself the ultimate gift by deciding not to do that anymore. You decide instead to get rid of that part. You start by watching life and noticing the constant flow of people and situations that hit your stuff every day. How often do you find yourself trying to protect and defend that weak part of you? You feel like the world wants to get it right. Every place you go, there's someone or something trying to disturb you, trying to get your goat. Why not let them have it? If you don't really want it, then don't protect it. The reward for not protecting your psyche is liberation. You are free to walk through this world without a problem on your mind. You are just having fun, experiencing whatever happens next. Because you got rid of that scared part of you, you don't ever have to worry about getting hurt or disturbed. You no longer have to listen to what will they think of me, or oh God, I wish I hadn't said that. It sounded so stupid. You just go about your business and put your whole being into whatever's happening, instead of putting your whole being into your personal sensitivity. Once you've made the commitment to free yourself of that scared person inside, you will notice that there is a clear decision point at which your growth takes place. Spiritual growth is about the point at which you start to feel your energy change. For instance, somebody says something and you start to feel the energy get a little strange inside. You will actually start to feel a tightening. That is your cue that it's time to grow. It's not time to defend yourself, because you don't want the part of you that you would be defending. If you don't want it, let it go. You will eventually get conscious enough so that the minute you see the energy start getting strange, you stop. You stop getting involved in the energy. If it normally causes you to start talking, you stop talking. You just stop mid-sentence because you know where it will go if you continue. The moment you see the energy getting imbalanced inside, the moment you see the heart starting to tense and get defensive, you just stop. What exactly does it mean to stop? It's something you do inside. It's called letting go. When you let go, you are falling behind the energy that is trying to pull you into it. Your energies inside have power. They are very strong and they draw your awareness into them. If a hammer falls on your toe, all your awareness will focus there. If there's a sudden loud sound, again, all of your awareness will focus there. Consciousness has the tendency to focus on disturbance, and disturbed energies inside are no exception. These disturbed energies will draw your consciousness to them, but you do not have to let this happen. You really do have the ability to disengage and fall back behind them. When the energies inside start to move, you do not have to go there. For instance, when your thoughts start, you do not have to go with them. Let's say you're outside taking a walk and a car drives by. Your thoughts say, boy, I wish I had that car. You could just keep on walking, but instead you start getting upset. You want a car like that, but your salary isn't high enough. So you begin thinking about how you can get a raise or a different job. You didn't have to do all that. It could have just been, here comes the car, and there goes the car again. And here comes the thought, and there it goes. They're both gone together because you didn't go with them. That is what's called being centered. If you aren't centered, your consciousness is just following whatever catches its attention. You see the car drive by and you're off doing something about it. Another day, you see a boat and then it's all about the boat and you forget about the car. There are people like that. They don't hold jobs very well and relationships don't tend to work out for them. They're just all over the place. Their energy is very scattered. Let's see. You have the ability to not go with any of these thoughts. You can just sit in a seat of consciousness and let go. A thought or emotion emerges. You notice it and it passes by because you allow it to. This technique of freeing yourself is done with the understanding that thoughts and emotions are just objects of consciousness. When you see your heart start getting anxious, you are obviously aware of this experience. But who is aware? It is the consciousness, the indwelling being, the soul, the self. It is the seer, the one who sees. The changes you experience in your inner flow are simply objects of this consciousness. If you want to be free, then every time you feel any change in the energy flow, relax behind it. Don't fight with it. Don't try to change it. And don't judge it. Don't say, oh, I can't believe I'm still feeling this. I promised myself I wouldn't think about that car anymore. Don't do that. You'll just end up going with the guilt thoughts instead of the car thoughts. You have to let them all go. So I could carry on reading forever because this book's amazing, but I think I'll stop there. But definitely, if you can get yourself a copy, it is really, really awesome. Yes. Hey, squirrel, and then you're off there. Exactly that.
But also what it's saying there is like, if you've got a problem, say your issue is, say your knee is sore. Like, so if you've got a problem, then who's the one witnessing the problem? You are the conscious, you are the witness consciousness that recognizes the problem. Therefore, the problem is not you because you're witnessing it. So what is the problem? And then you go into the energy of what you're projecting because there are no problems.
So this is it. It is The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. So definitely get yourself a copy. It is really, really, really powerful.
I'm going to play one of Mom's videos.
Cool.
See what comes up.
Welcome, Pam.
Welcome, Pammy.
All you gotta do is look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife.
Bare necessities.
Can you intro to Mom's video?
Get it, Baloo. Oh, here we go. We'll go with this one because it feels right. Enjoy it.
Oh, goodness. On my emotional day.
20 today.
Grounding.
Listen to the words at the beginning, are very important.
nights. That's all. That's all. Listen deeply. When words fail, music speaks. Beyond. 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 How sweet the sound that sings where you rest. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Little Buddha trick. How sweet the sound that Go beyond.
It was Tina Turner.
Oh, there's Mom, straight afterwards.
The Galactic Free Press Update. Disclosure movement by the people has begun. Bringing humanity home. Energy and event update. With love from the Galactic Center. Greetings, love beings. As anticipated, huge shifting has been occurring in the past 72 hours, with more on the way. What has also occurred is the planet has moved up in frequency, and we will be riding this onward and upward. We feel the very first signs of the movement for the people's disclosure is beginning to unfold as more begin awakening. Yesterday, we had our first eclipse. Well, Thursday, we had our first eclipse of a set of 3 incoming eclipses, which will bring us intense acceleration. We just went through the full moon in Scorpio, the Festival of Christ, which is the beginning of the Wasic festivals, and the first of 3 powerful eclipses arriving for the planet within the next 30 days. These eclipses, with the festivals, will be assisting us in many ways, and they do represent intense change. Quoted from Reverend Christine Mellerise. The Festival of the Christ, April 25th, is the first festival of the 3 and usually falls around Easter. This year it did not, as the Easter holiday was earlier, which also signifies the times of changes of removing the old pantheons. On April 25th, we experienced an amazing Festival of the Christ. On its own, this energy has brought us life-changing events And with the lunar eclipse, we were deeply affected and deeply changed. End of quote. These foundational energies for change were set in place during the same time period last year. These eclipses will assist us in magnifying the new Earth energy coming in and facilitate energy movement for the light. Many doors to your new lives will begin opening and or revealed. These eclipses also represent trigger points for events to occur according to the divine plan. This last full moon was about hidden truths being revealed, so that energetic space opened up for more love to enter the planet. This past full moon contained intense transformational energy, and many are probably feeling this. Through Irma K. Sawyer, the full moon message. The high aspect of Scorpio energy is about deep truth, which in itself can bring healing and regenerative power. You are that which you seek. This is a time to bring this truth home, so to speak. In times of an eclipse, there is a shadow cast and a darkening of the light. It also represents a cosmic gateway moment in between worlds. In moments of cosmic stillness, there is great power and potential for insight. Intend to be connected to your highest soul's wisdom, and so it is. Keepers. End of quote. And quoted from Star Sister Marcia. On Thursday, a very powerful process of healing and metamorphosis began for many of us, and this will be a personal turning point. Eclipses are renowned for bringing sudden, unpredictable, sometimes shocking change. This is just the first of 3 eclipses that will occur within the next month, along with the third world-changing square of Uranus, the Awakener, and Pluto, the Transformer. Like every lunar eclipse, this one coincided with a full moon. The Scorpio full moon that comes each year when the sun is in Taurus is known throughout Asia as the Wasted Moon. Also known as the Buddha moon, it celebrates the birth, the enlightenment, and the death of Buddha. It reminds us that the process of shedding our illusions and false selves is as intense as that of giving physical birth. End of quote. Many are now confirming with us. We are in the final stages of some huge transformations for the first wavers on the planet, as they integrate onto the unity grid and begin the co-creation of the new Earth. These will be assisted by our upcoming eclipses and continue the rest of this year. As a result, we will have another huge influx of new awakenees. All divine roles are activated as you are present in the moment of now. All will and is being revealed. Quoted from Malene Lafont. An extremely uplifting and beautiful time is just around the corner for all of you due to the upcoming eclipses arriving in the course of 1 month. They will surely bring about much in your reality, even more than has been the case up until now. And everything builds slowly but surely up to your genuinely real reality, which unfolds itself from your heart and from your inner self. The upcoming 3 eclipses are not only going to disengage much, but also trigger a lot in your reality. So be careful with your thoughts of and for each other and your mutual interactions, and be aware that these intense energies will bring you to such a climax that it will seem too overwhelming for you to handle, but nothing is further from the truth, as these energies will lead you to your salvation. This is huge to take in and comprehend, and will in most cases lead to confusion. That's why we again stress the fact to remain centered in your heart. This is of the utmost importance. The coming days, and more specifically, the energies of the eclipses, will reveal much concerning disclosure, the truth about your existence and ours, as a few projects have been started up in the time frame of these eclipses, implying that you yourselves will bring disclosure to the forefront. We can only applaud you for this, and rest assured that it will reach many, many hearts. And viewing it from this position, it will be an astounding success. End of quote. Quoted from Adama. Indeed, you have entered the final chapter of the planetary changes that were planned based on the cosmic cycles a very long time ago. Vibrational changes are on the horizon with much intensity. You are simply in the middle of those changes you were prepared for before your recent physical assignment. The planet is ready for the transformation. The same readiness is valid from your side. All that will unfold is not in a future time anymore. In whatever form, these transformational energies can be brought into your reality field. Just stay tuned to the navigational system your heart is connected to. There is a delicate balance between your newly forming heart. Brain and heart are connected in a way that could not have been presented earlier. You're ready to feel, and this is the most important sign for readiness. It is indeed a roller coaster in many of your lives because the changes and transformations on your personal level are accelerating. Keep up the good work, beloved ones. These changes you are experiencing on a daily basis now are all the symptoms of the greatest transformation you as humanity are going through. End of quote. We have shared before in previous updates. There will be no stopping this energy momentum. The anticipated release of Sirius assisted us in this process as focused energy was placed upon this event and all participants. As a result of the curiosity many had about this movie. What we saw in this documentary, although some parts were irrelevant, and many of you who read and listen to our updates already know the information that he shared, it did represent a lightning, a spark of interest for seeking truth from those who are unaware of what has happened and is happening on this planet and how they've been under control. In this way, the release of the movie Sirius could be a success if it can reach out to the program masses. Over 11,000 people piled into the room to watch the red carpet event for Sirius, which carried many codes of seated truths. The next day, we observed over 40,000 likes to the Sirius Movie Facebook page. We have definitely arrived at the first visible signs of full disclosure by the people, planet-wide peace, and true equality. The ball, at least, is now rolling, and this planet's destiny is unfolding, which is home into the light. Quoted from Kara Shalak. We've gone through lots of changes and intensity, guiding us gently or kicking and screaming to our destiny. That of living our soul's plan, and in the higher dimensions of love, who we are, and unity, who we are together. There is no duality in this space. And if you are still experiencing duality, opposites, which is a 3D illusion, ask yourself if you are perpetuating it by actively taking part in it, or are looking outside yourself for answers and or confirmation that duality still exists, or that you experience it based on the fact that that's what you're used to, not paying attention to your inner knowing. Go below the surface. Let go of outer illusions that dictate to you that indeed nothing has changed. I want to tell you, those of us who choose to see life with 5D and above, see that in truth we have transcended the schism of duality. It's your choice as to how you see the world. One choice is to see love everywhere, thereby empowering a world of wholeness. Another choice is to see duality everywhere and see the world as broken, and you empower this. However you choose to see the world is truly how you see yourself. We are in a time when so many high frequencies are connecting with the earth. We are constantly being infused with light codes and are in direct communication with the higher realms, whether we realize this or not. We are awakening fully to our divinity And that should be our only focus. For when it is, everything else aligns with it and is created from it. Our consciousness is rising and expanding, which creates new life. As we focus on how we feel, we are guided. And as we focus on love only, we see that the old dissolves, and we step more and more into our placement of being the divine, Christ beings, that is the truth of who we are. Also, you may now receive new guides as a result of your heightened consciousness. Indeed, we are definitely in the new earth, and it's becoming more and more obvious as we observe dispassionately at all that is occurring. All is in divine order. Take a deep breath and be gratitude for your place and purpose of bringing a new consciousness to earth and all of life, transforming the old into a higher grace. End of quote. Now that the release of Sirius has occurred, our next incoming event is the citizens' hearing on disclosure at the end of the week. How synchronistic. This is another unprecedented event for the planet occurring when so many are now more aware of extraterrestrial presence and it's more planet-wide accepted. They are anticipating this to be a breakthrough event. We send all of our love for the highest outcome for this event. Quoted from Connie Willis. Political activist Stephen Bassett, along with researchers and military witnesses, will tell their stories before former members of the U.S. House and Senate at the citizens' hearing on disclosure, starting at the end of April in Washington, D.C. They will testify about events and evidence that supports the idea that many people have an extraterrestrial presence regularly engaging the human race. Their goal is to end the alleged ET truth embargo. As controversial as UFOs and aliens are, the last time Congress held a hearing addressing the extraterrestrial issue was in 1968. How can that be? There are so many daily sightings around the globe, some telling of crafts that are stupendous in size. It is thought by some, myself included, that if we were all privy to knowing that ETs exist, we could cure every disease, every mental disorder, and energy problem, because it is thought the alien visitors have these answers. I believe disclosure will tell us who we are as humans and what our role is in this universe. I also believe we humans are ready to handle the truth of these other beings. Good luck to those attending the citizens' hearing on disclosure, speaking out about what you and many countless others have witnessed in the sky. I am quite sure the day will come when your efforts and courage will be acknowledged by the masses. End of quote. The truth is being revealed now in grander and grander ways. As more of the New Earth energies enter this planet, many are having the courage to stand up through spoken word, movies, documentaries, blogs, global meditations, websites, sharing information with others via video, internet groups, gatherings, and social network sites. This is spreading the web of light far and wide with intensity. The more information shared, the more others have the opportunity to break free from the chains of the old paradigm of power over. And it's time to move into equality with power with. Quoted from James Gillian. James Gillian describes how we break free from the old paradigm matrix. First, we have to understand who the archon minions are and their program to break free. The minions are an ancient collective of discarnate spirits, regenerate ETs, some greys, reptilians, and serpent beings who feed off negativity and care nothing for humanity and the earth. Their program is to keep you enslaved through your very own mind and to create as much separation, fear, pain, and suffering as possible. This is done with programming, various kinds of media, societal programming, psychotronic technology using ELF, microwave, radionic, and other frequencies, not to mention mind-to-mind manipulation with the archon minions. The television and the news is one of the most obvious designed to keep you fearful, insecure, and in need of a savior outside of yourself. It is also designed to keep you focused on the material world, acquiring acceptance and approval outside of self, being well adjusted to society for your very survival. Krishnamurti best summed up this process with the quote, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society." That being said, let's look at society. We must also look at the social, economic, and environment conditions. Look at the wars, the diseases, the unbridled greed and corruption in government, the disempowerment of most religions, and complete failure to bring man and woman closer to the God Creator Spirit within, as well as unify humanity. Do we have universal peace? Do we have brotherly, sisterly love throughout humanity? Do we have individual freedom and prosperity for all? Do we have a clean, pristine environment? What is the condition of our air, water, and land? Let's not dismiss these questions too readily without using brutal honesty. Who's in control of this planet? The next question, and again using brutal honesty, is, are you contributing to the mess? Are you a part of the problem or a part of the solution? Are you trapped in the archon minion matrix, making choices and acting according to soul and spirit, or the programmed mind and manipulated ego? Who do you serve? God or ego? The Minions Network first and foremost goal is to separate man and woman from the God within. It is to keep you focused on the external and control you through the base attitudes and emotions of the first three chakras: survival, sex, and power. It cannot let you operate from the heart, because once you move up into the heart and beyond, it loses its power over you. The heart is love, love felt, deep, profound love for all of humanity and the earth. The throat is love expressed. Not a lot of that going around. The third eye is God seen in all things, and the top of the head is I am God at 1 minute. Now we have to ask again with brutal honesty, are the heart and the other higher chakras being expressed in today's society or our own daily lives? Are these higher forms of expression coming from our leadership? When we engage others, are we in a me-I mode? How can this best serve me? Or are we in service? How can this best serve the whole? The closer to enlightenment, the more you will be tempted, challenged, and completely screwed with to take you off the path. The minions are famous for using friends, family, and lovers to distract you and pull you away from your soul purpose, from your God, Creator, Spirit connection. Few have the moral character, courage, sensitivity, and training to keep themselves from the manipulations and control of the archons and their network of the unconscious and the ignorant. The key to breaking free and ending the spell of the minions is within. It is not from without, as they would love you to believe. There is a powerful, manifesting, loving, joyous God Goddess within each and every one. The spark awaiting to become the full flame. Go within. Meditate in nature. Learn to heal unseen negative influences and the prayer of manifestation from the God of your being. Have an open, loving heart and be pure intent. Do no harm to humanity or the earth. Be of impeccable integrity, and when you slip, clean up your mess. Forgive yourself, forgive others. Develop a sense of gratitude. And when Spirit wants to speak through you or send love into a situation that needs love and understanding and light, do not block the flow. Become like a hollow bone for Source without fear or trepidation. Now is the time to rise. Claim your divinity. Support others in their awakening who are empowering you and leading you to the God within. There are legions, seen and unseen, helping in this grand awakening. Do not think you're alone. The heart in which you seek is the heart in which you connect. It's not about being saved. It is about rising to the occasion. You are the ancient ancestors, the off-worlders, the elves and the fairies, the gods incarnate you have been waiting for. It is time to reunite. When one becomes one with the one consciousness that encompasses all consciousness on all planes and dimensions throughout the universe. When one ignites that spark within to become the full flame, it is all of you, and you are free. The old program matrix network is being exposed for what it is, unraveling and being torn asunder, making way for a new earth. We must release the past, awaken and heal if we are going to continue on this ride. Any choices and actions to the contrary will be met by universal law, what is known as karma or the reaction, which is becoming almost instantaneous due to the quickening. We are not so clever as to outwit our souls and the universe. You cannot serve two gods and cannot have one foot in the minion network and one in the kingdom of heaven. Heaven on earth is not divided. Be well and Godspeed. End of quote. We keep repeating the game is over for the denser energies because this is true. This planet has until December 21st, 2014 to adjust to the 5D frequencies, and no program ego mind can make it through. We will share with you again, this planet is existing in these 5D frequencies, so there is no other choice except the light path, one way or the other. Only love will exist on planet Earth equal heart. The light and balanced harmonics is humanity's natural state of being, and Mother Earth equal heart's decree. Everybody is moving into balanced harmonics, which is 5D frequencies. Quoted from Sarah. No being of any sort has the right to control another being, period. Become aware. Stop lying to yourself and allowing your mind or ego to lie to you. For the minions or the denser energies, it's a big mess right now. They know they are dying. And the ones most resistant to move into the light will be removed. This is the Earth's wish. She is done tolerating this and has put the call out to either comply to her wishes to ascend, or she will personally remove you. The old ways are done, and it's a new age of love, caring, divine. The goddess, God age, balanced harmonics. Get with the program. I was sharing 2 nights ago similar information about the Earth and her decision to proceed and remove those who are not willing to change, yet rather play games. And that many are leaving due to choosing to leave or not being able to accept change. End of quote. The first steps towards the disclosure movement by the people, for the people, has arrived, and we feel many more will now step forward in this movement on various levels. Be love in action. Share the truth via social networks and websites. Real light is true information. This is how we can be of the greatest assistance for humanity in these moments. Humanity is here on this planet to experience and participate in the divine plan. They're not present in the moment of now, they're just missing it. decreed by heaven. We had intense energies incoming for the eclipse and full moon event. More processes and codes will be activated for the first waivers. The frequency of the planet has raised and is raising now more quickly as processes of events unfold. This is the divine plan manifesting now on planet Earth Equal Heart. Remember, loves, we are not in a time linear schedule. We are in a divine one. Thank you for spreading these messages to others and keeping your hearts open and staying tuned in. And transmission and all love is unconditionally. We are so in love with humanity. Love the Galactic Free Press staff, humanity's Earth allies, the company of heaven, and the First Contact Ground Crew team. We love you. We are here in service to you.
Mom was brilliant. Will you send that one to Faith when you're finished?
Mm-hmm.
Or we can pop it there.
Whatever. Yippee! Yeah, it's always quite something to follow Mom's words. You know, it's never really too much to say because Mom puts everything so simply and covers all bases. But just on the numbers side of things, we're heading into the solstice now, and we are literally, I mean, it's been written about in all the spiritual texts for all time. It's really well documented in the Hopi prophecy. And, this is the great ascension. This is a great awakening. Still, so many people, because they get caught up in impatience, they say, you've been saying the same thing forever. Time is not real. Everything is based on the dates and events, not the clock. The dates and events, and everything is organized around the dates and events. So the date, the 21st of June, is huge. It's basically like the mini event leading up to the major event on the 21st of December. So there's huge cosmic quantum shifts taking place that, you're not going to, a lot of your patterns are going to be kind of left behind. And so people that don't want to let go are going to become very confused, trying to understand stuff that no longer fits into their box because it's been dissolved. That paradigm, that reality has been dissolved. And a lot of people, because all of their information is now going from their head to the heart, and if you don't process it, there's a lot of kind of heart attacks and all kinds of stuff going on with the body, because we really need to purify our bodies, because it's a physical ascension. We are physically ascending with our light bodies. So it's super important to do a lot of stretching and, drink lots of water and just walking and just rest, giving your body attention. Your body's on this journey. You're like a spirit guide for your body. And, that's why your body, your feelings guide you in every step. And the more you build that relationship with your body, with your feelings, with your inner child, with your higher self, with your soul, doing your mirror technique every day. Those things aren't hobbies. Those things need to be your priority over absolutely everything. We say this every time, like spiritual discipline, self-love, it is the only way through this ascension process, period. Whenever people say, I don't know what to do, I'm trying. You're doing your disciplines every day. No, great. Get back in. That's it. Simple. And love will guide you. You've got to trust love. Love is so much more than we can even imagine. So much more than we can fathom. Love is everything. Like, you think about what you can do from this really low level of consciousness. Now you imagine what infinite love can do. And when you get out of the way and let love take the reins, everything changes like overnight, instantaneously. And it just gets better and better. It doesn't mean you go through hard times. You're just not in the victim seat when you go through them. You in the witness seat, experiencing it. Enjoying life, living, not surviving. You know, taking chances. Like Mom said, you can't make mistakes in the present moment. So what are you afraid of? Death is not real. You're afraid of what the people out there with the mask on think of what you say and do. If you're afraid of what the unconscious robots think, what does that tell you about yourself? If you're afraid of what the so-called people that love you the most think, if you can't be yourself because of how they perceive you, because familiarity breeds contempt, you've got to ask yourself, how much do they actually love you? Or is the story all in your head?
And I've been doing the I am affirmations with Taylor. And it's quite fun, you know, when we both standing in front of the mirror and we're both doing them together. And I've seen the shift in her in 4 days of doing it. And then she rehearts me. I mean, I do them every day. And she goes, Mom, we need to do our self-love discipline, you know. She's a little Capricorn and like she's on it. And it's really been cool to kind of do that together, you know, creating another little warrior, you know. She's a tough little spirit, but just getting her into the disciplines which are really going to assist her, you know. And often if she's having a moment, I just say to her, just have a sneaky moment when you're feeling pop and just stand in front of the mirror and go, I'm courageous and I'm strong and I'm worthy. And, you know, the minute I say that, she starts putting a smile on her face because she knows how good it feels. And I want to play a quick video that I posted earlier, but it was really cool for all of you guys.
Here's to the crazy ones.
Yippee!
The misfits. The rebels. The troublemakers. The round pegs in the square holes. The ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
So go and be crazy and change the world.
And it's really simple, guys. Like, if you really feel into it, the things that you need to do to have a smooth transition are so simple a 5-year-old can do them. But here's the difference. It's all about priorities. When you try and sell someone something and they say, I don't have money, they're saying it's not my priority. So when you tell people about self-love and they say, I don't have time, it's not your priority. And it's getting forced onto everyone now. It needs to be your priority. And there's a great event that's about to shake the world. The whole world is about to be shaken, literally. And there's some real destruction coming, because before expansion comes destruction. And we are shifting into a golden age. We are shifting complete reality. 90 degrees, like we will not be able to recognize this reality like a year from now, 6 months from now. We will not be able to recognize this. And the only thing you take with you is your soul growth. And so your life is meant to be used as a platform for your soul evolution, for your soul growth, not for your money chasing escapades or your material achievements or your educational add-on programming. It's meant to be for evolutionary growth and to transform old patterns that you've created in past lifetimes and generational patterns. You came here to wake up and recognize the illusion, recognize fear as false, and step back into the divinity, step back into love. Be fully who you are. Self-expression is humanity's biggest fear. The fear of being yourself. What a fucking concept. What other species would ever fear being yourself? Like, what is there to be other than yourself? A retarded ego. That's our choice, as Mom said. Are you choosing? This is where it comes to, and the book gets to there as well, about the willpower. You get to exercise your willpower in every moment. You're either exercising it for love or fear. If you're entertaining your mind, if you're feeding your mind, if you carry on supporting and defending the stories in your head, you are, by your own free will of choice, using your willpower to feed the system. And which wolf are you feeding in every moment? Through your willpower. How much time do you spend in your mind? Because every time you're in your mind, you're contributing to the sacrifice of another child. And sit with that, because that's enough for me to tell my mind to fuck off. I'm not interested in what you've got to say. Because the mind is the ego, period. Doesn't matter when you're using it. Doesn't matter what you're using it for, period. How many of you can say you don't entertain the mind?
And, you know, Mom's given us the self-love disciplines, which are the tools to embody our higher selves. And she said she only needs 300 of us to embody. So when you're doing your self-love disciplines, you are doing all of creation the biggest favor. You are lifting the vibration of all beings on the planet. So it's not just something that you'll make time for. That's the priority, because you're fulfilling your contract. Love you, Dylan.
Love you, brother.
And they're simple, but the ego will fight and distract and put you off. I mean, I get up in the morning and I do them. I'm in the bathroom, I self-love disciplines, I read the 10 love in action codes, I do my oil pulling, I do my sun gazing. It's my holiday time. It's like my feeding my soul time. And my soul doesn't rest until I've done them. Like if I haven't done them, I get irritated. I'm like, you know, and then I'm like, I just want to do that. And your day just flows, because, you know, you want your soul to be in control and be connected with the source and be connected to synchronistic events and the flow, and have your heart open. And that's how you do it. And it's the tools Mom's given. It's, you know, it's that simple. And, you know, our sensitivities were meant to be used for greatness. It's not. It's that being sensitive to life is what life's all about. And it's not weakness. It's the greatness of who we are.
It's receptivity. That's what sensitivity is. You're receptive. You're not closed off. You're not conditioned. You're not limited or rigid in your ability to receive guidance from something other than what you see. You know. It might be something to do with the YouTube back page. They've given us like a little garden, like a little fairy garden here. So it feels like we're grinding in the garden while we're doing the live. It's really cool.
Yeah, maybe look like mushrooms.
There's pink flowers and red flowers and white flowers. I don't see mushrooms.
Thank you, Joel. So.
Yeah, it's huge. And next month is obviously the July is the 7th, but it's also Universal 12 months. So it's really getting back to basics and simplicity and letting go. You know, really, if any moment you want to know if you're in ego, if you're in love, just recognize: is it simple?
And how are you feeling?
And how are you feeling? Exactly. As soon as it's complicated, whether it's a relationship, a fucking decision about what food you want to eat, you know, the apathy of options, whatever it is, if it's complicated, stop it immediately and let it go, because you're in ego. And just go with whatever you feel right in that moment, without having to choose or decide or, you know, analyze or
asking anyone else's opinion.
Exactly. And the 7 is the divine intelligence. So, you know, first contact is here, and the galactics are communicating, and, you know, they're looking for the people that are willing to be empty vessels and really be channels of light, that are open to receiving direct communication. But as Taryn says in the decrees, you've got to let go to make room for something better to come in. And it all exists when you let go of your attachment to the physical illusion. You've got to literally get out the whole concept of the world as you perceive it out of your head completely. And just get back into childlike wonder. Do what brings you joy. Do what lights up your soul. Because it's all about embodying love. And how do you embody love? You spend time there. You spend moments there. And so you do what brings you joy. And the more you do that, the more time you spend in joy, obviously the more you heal. But it basically creates momentum. So you can, you know, do, even if it's watching comedy, you want to watch comedy for 3 hours, and then you take that joy and you take it into washing the dishes. You take it into going to the shop, because now that joy is in your heart and you're embodying it. And then you go, oh, do all these things, you know, and then maybe you spin a bit or you get a trigger, and then you come back and you do your discipline again. You go stare at the tree, you know, you go talk to the angels, you go stare at the stars, you go for a walk, you do some conscious
you just have
breathing.
3 conscious breaths, and you come totally back to.
That's it. The breathing is everything. It's the cornerstone, you know. That's why they got you wearing masks. Breathing is everything. How often do you consciously breathe during the day? Honest with yourself. If you want to be transparent, write down on you. Do you breathe consciously every day? In breath, breathing in love. The feminine in breath. And you hold it in your heart. I do like shapes and I move it around, and then you let it out through your stomach. You release it through the stomach. And like I do it at least 100 times a day, like all day. Any moment I've got, I'm like, and when I was doing the shower, I saw the energy coming out. Like it's so important. You know, you're breathing in love. And when you breathe, your problems disappear. You can't worry and breathe at the same time. You can't think and breathe at the same time. It's the same as gratitude. When you're in gratitude, your problems disappear. Try telling me I'm grateful for the roof above my head and you know, I hate my fucking mother or my grandma or whatever the case. Try saying it in the same moment. You can't. It's the two cannot exist simultaneously. So when you're in a state of gratitude, life is perfect. And the more you're in a state of gratitude, as Taryn was saying, the more the universe gives you things to be grateful for. It's really simple. Life is really, really simple. But the ego cannot comprehend simple, because the ego is a construct of attachments, of labels. And the more you call yourself out, the more the ego dissolves into the oneness. But at any sense of attachment or label that you've got about yourself, and the deeper your label, whether it's I'm a mom, I'm a this, I'm a that, just the way I am, all of those labels are what separate you from divinity. So the deeper your sense of self, the deeper you need to explain your story, and the deeper your status and your reputation, the deeper you are in the system.
And what I found is the more you let go, the more people receive you.
Sure.
Because you breaking down those imaginary walls, because blocked energy blocks everything.
Sure.
So the more you let go, the more, and I'm seeing a lot of people that weren't hearing me for a long time are now very open to receiving what I have to share. And it's almost been like surprising, you know, from people that I last would have expected, but they are feeling me, they are receiving what I have to share. And it's just, you know, so within, so without. The more healing you do internally, the more the external shifts at the same time. It is a mirror. So when you give it attention and make it a priority, you will see how things will shift.
It's Pamela talking to herself there.
There's 2 Pamela, Pamela Bentel and Pamela First. I also sometimes looked and I was like,
but Pamela would. She would answer herself. I know I would do the same thing.
Yeah. We're talking to ourselves anyway, right?
Even now.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, it's 1:44, yeah?
And there's 24 people watching.
Brilliant.
Another 24 for me
24,
today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's really simple. Be a love muffin. Spread love. And if it's not love, it's not you. And the only way you're going to recognize that is if you call yourself out. And if you allow others to. But at the same time, like, nothing's personal. Don't have an attachment on your words. If you're trying to share guidance with somebody and they're not receiving it and you're getting irritated, then you're trying to be the manager of the universe. Don't be attached to your words. Share your message and move on. Love doesn't hang around to drown while it's trying to, try to put a naughty badge on itself. The river of love flows. There's no check what I did. You're drowning while you're checking what you did. You did it, and now you're swimming. You carry on. Love just keeps moving. You're welcome, Pamela.
You can message the team on Facebook. Oh, you on YouTube. So it's 5D Disclosure on Facebook. I am Taryn. That's Greggy. But reach out to the team, and we'll definitely connect. So
yeah, for sure. You can book. There's many sessions. You can go onto the website. If someone on the team can post the website where Pamela can connect, I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Be a love muffin. That's it. That's it. So shall we love muffins finish with a lovely hoponopono?
Yes.
Sure.
Love you, fam.
Love you, fam bam. Thank you for joining us. Nothing's personal. And as one of my favorite quotes says, nothing wastes the body like worry. And anyone who believes in God should be ashamed to worry about anything whatsoever. That's called faith.
Pamela, it's 5D full disclosure. I'm sure somebody will pop the link onto the website.
Pop it like it's hot, bitches.
And love you, Jade.
Love you, Jess.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you, Mama. Yippee. Have a beautiful day, evening, wherever you are.
Love you. Bye.
Love your mama.